Scales have always been the symbol of study of technique. In the collective imagination, the guitar player who studies technique plays a series of scales with ever-increasing speed, with the goal to play every time faster. Yet, this is not the only useful approach to develop speed of performance. So the exercises that I'm going to show you in this video will also help you become a better musician, forming a highly developed sense of articulation, of rhythm, of sound, and of course, dynamics. In addition, they are fundamental for fixing the whole knowledge of the fretboard, and therefore improving enormously your sight reading, which consequently will also speed up the process of learning new pieces and also memorizing them. The truth is that speed is not the only aspect that a musician has to have. So please let me show you some alternative ways that you can apply in your daily routine when you're practicing scales and make it richer, more various, and also more fun. The first tip is practice scales with at least 3 different fingerings that span through the entire fretboard. It is very important that you get familiar with all the different combinations and all the different positions and not locking yourself with the same scale, same fingerings every single time. This is not going to bring you really very far. For these matters, I like very much to use Marius Ganji's second book of his method because he has all the scales, the major, the minor melodic and the minor harmonic, all written in 3 different fingerings. I'll show you an example in C major just because probably most of you are already familiar with that scale. So the first option, we have C major on first position. First position meaning that the first finger is placed on the first fret. Now we have the C major on second position and we replace the open strings with fretted notes. We can do the same on the third fret. We can also find the C on the 6th string and do another fingering. For your practice, I would recommend that you add the 2 octaves. Or here. What I really like of this method is that he already writes the fingerings so you don't have to figure out anything by yourself, and all the fingerings that he uses are very common, very consequent, and nothing really out of normal. So it really helps practicing this because you find those figurations in so many places. For pretty much any other instrument that I know, is a very natural and obvious thing to practice different articulation on scales right from the beginning. The advantage is evident. A performance with well-defined articulation is way more exciting and way more convincing than one that is completely flat with any difference of detached notes or tied notes. To begin studying this aspect, I would recommend you to shorten the scale to 1 single octave, just so that in the beginning you can focus that the articulation is right and well defined. When the control of the basic articulation has been achieved, then you can extend the range of the octave to 2 octaves or 3 octaves. Here a basic example on how it would work on the C major scale. You can start by playing legato. Focus very much that there are no sound gaps from one note to the other, and take care that from one string to the next, you don't leave both strings ringing. If you go ascending and you're playing in apoyando like me in that case, that will not be a problem, but when you descend, this keeps ringing. So try to watch out with that and unpress the previous finger so that you have one note at a time in nice legato from one note to the other. Secondly, we can play in staccato or detached. In this case, you can practice 2 ways of making staccato. One way is the right hand, stopping it with the right hand. I'm preparing the fingers before I play the next note, or you can make the whole work with the left hand. Notice how I'm releasing the pressure immediately. Then you can mix them up and make, for instance, legato, staccato. 2 notes in legato, not slurred, legato like before, and then 2 notes staccato. And then you can obviously change it around. And then you can always make many variations in that. Turn it around or make 3 legato, 1 staccato, 3 staccato, 1 legato, and so on and so forth. You can apply variation as the month and week of practice go. Just don't try to do everything at once, then it's going to be endless. The third type of study, and also very common I must say, is the rhythm variations on scales. This type of practice is essential to build up a convincing and precise sense of rhythm. And by this I mean playing dotted rhythm or Lombard rhythm. We can get started with those two. We can do a preliminary exercise to develop this precision on the right rhythmic formula. The exercise goes like this. We play 4/16, but the 4th 16, it's already the next note. So it's something like this. A little bit slower. Now the upgrade to this will be to delete all the notes in between and just play the dotted rhythm, but yet repeating the same note twice. So we get this. Now instead of repeating the same note twice, we will go straight to the next note, following the dotted rhythm. And there we have it. So it's very important that you keep counting the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. If you feel that the rhythm is getting sloppy or too much like a triplet, maybe keep the counting in your mind. That might help a lot. Then we have the second rhythm, which is also called the Lombard rhythm, and it's like the mirror of the dotted rhythm. With a very simple 1-octave scale, we can develop a great sense of dynamic and continuity within our dynamic range. So we will start with the most obvious, which is a crescendo, so starting piano, then to forte, and then piano. And then we can do the opposite. We start forte, we arrive to piano, the highest note, and we go down until the forte. Sometimes practicing dynamics, I have experienced that it might help to involve a little bit of body movement, but be careful, don't do that too much to the point that it distracts you from precision with the left hand. And lastly, we have that one that is very rarely practiced on scales, which is changing the color. It's very simple. We take it exactly the same way we did with the dynamics, but we will do, instead of dynamics, the color. So we are going to go here from a nice warm sound on the sound hole of the guitar to a colder, more metallic, very close to the ponticello or to the bridge of the guitar. And from there we will move back and forth. One time from warm to metallic and the other way around. And then we do the opposite. If you try this at home, you will experience that changing the color within one scale, it demands a lot of accuracy on the right hand and a lot of control of the left hand to completely leave it aside and forget about it in order to really focus on what's happening and the final sound that is coming out. So this will help a lot to get this extra control that when you encounter a piece and you have a scale, you have so much more resources, so much more control on that than you would if you just practice scale fast just for the sake of speed, but you don't have nice color or nice sound or nice dynamic variation, and overall it ends up being a little bit more poor. So I hope this tutorial was very useful. If so, drop a like and share it to other musicians or guitar players who you think they might benefit having this. To make it easy for you guys, I also put together a PDF that you can download in the link here below. There you will find written down all the variations that we talked today, and you can just print it out and have it there on your stand besides your daily scales. And you can easily just go one variation at a time with every scale, and hopefully that will make your practice more fun, more enjoyable, and also more various, and help you in your journey to become a great player. So I wish you all the best. Thank you very much for watching one more time, and I'll see you in the next one.